This incident happened about 10 years ago. Back then, I got robbed of money every day by bullies in my neighborhood. They always gathered around in the alley and took money from passerbys, but I had to run into them all the time because the alley was on the way to my house. Then one day, I couldn't take it anymore and said I couldn't give them money, and they beat me up. I came home crying, and I couldn't stand the outbursts of anger and pain. I finally made up my mind to take revenge. However, it wasn't like this from the beginning. All of this was just because of a flyer I ran into on the street. There was a sentence written on it: "We take revenge for you with black magic." I called them out of curiosity and asked what this is, and they said that they offer services of punishing someone who you want to punish on behalf of you. Eventually, I went there out of curiosity and with a bit of doubt. When I arrived and opened the door, there were many large skeleton models standing there, and suddenly, the skeletons turned their heads towards me and ran up to me, creaking. I fell on my back as I was startled, but when I regained consciousness, the skeletons were not moving, but remaining still. It was as if I saw an illusion for a moment, but it really felt like it was moving. The man sitting inside said, "What you see and what you don't see, both are true. What you just saw is real." I realized that he had a spell. I ran up to him and said, "There is someone I want to punish. How can I do that?" Then he handed me a menu, saying that he wouldn't take the blame no matter what happens. I said it's okay. The paper he handed me had numerous monsters to choose from. Starting with low-class demons, there were dozens of different types of monsters of the underworld drawn on it, including a 3-headed dog and a 5-headed snake monster. Also, the cost of summoning each monster varied as well. Lastly, there even was a death god. The cost of summoning the death god was incredibly high. I asked in a trembling voice, "Can you even summon the death god?" He said, "It is possible, but of course it is up to him whether or not the death god will take him to the afterlife." I pondered long and hard, and then he said, "If you couldn't decide, experience it yourself. I'll call them here, so take a look and decide." I chose a demon that looks like a gargoyle. Then he uttered an incantation, and after a while, the room suddenly became completely dark. Then I heard a deafening voice of a monster, and in front of my eyes stood a gigantic gargoyle-like demon. It grabbed my neck and lifted me into the air, laughing. I said, groaning in pain, "How?" Then the black magician said, smiling, "I told you, it's all real." After a while, the gargoyle disappeared like smoke, and I fell to the floor. I signed a contract with him right away, and he said he would summon the demon when I want to. A few days later, I saw the gangsters gathered around in the alley again, and I secretly hid behind them and called the black magician. He chanted a spell, and after a while, the alley became very dark. Then the bullies started screaming. Looking closely, the gargoyle had grabbed them by the neck and was throwing them frantically to the ground. As they tried to escape, crawling away in panic, they were trampled by the gargoyle, and their bodies were crushed. Screams and moans, begging for help, filled the alley. It was hard to believe what I was seeing. Moments later, people passing by called the police after hearing them scream, and when the police arrived, all of the bullies were sprawled out on the floor, gasping for breath. The police speculated that they had fought with each other. The bullies said that they were attacked by a monster, but the police didn't believe them. They were all taken by ambulance, and after that, I heard that all those bullies had broken bones and ruptured organs, so they underwent surgery. They were also receiving psychiatric treatment because they kept claiming that they saw monsters. They didn't show up in the alley anymore after that, and I didn't run into them anymore. I was really surprised that the black magic had been a success, and on the other hand, it was secretly delightful. But what's even more exciting is that no one knows I did that.